about you English folks? My father was an English teacher for the second half of his career. And he and I sat over breakfast one day and we kind of argued back and forth about whether these ideas of digital citizenship, these ideas of digitizing components, these ideas of the flipped classroom could really be applied to English. And the answer is yes, of course. And that's kind of what he came to when he evaluated what he did for years and years. He said, well, I can see where grammar could be a great place to use this. I can see where vocabulary is a great place to use this. But I said, but you're not thinking broadly enough. Literature is a great place to do this because if we have Bloom's triangle, those things at the bottom for literature, that's what students should be able to do on their own. Get the setting, get the basis, or even get some basic experience attempting to do it on their own before they come with the expert to see it done in person or to have your help with it. And those things can be digitized, and you can put all of these pieces for Shakespeare and where he came from and his autobiography and a clip from the History Channel about Shakespeare and the tour of the Globe Theater recreation or whatever it is, can be put together as an introductory set that is given to students using digital instruction blocks. And using that, now class time is available for that interaction, for that learning how to think, that learning how to interact, that peer-to-peer interaction. Those are the important things that we really want to do in an English classroom. And let's take these other things and push them off into the individual spaces where they belong. And by the way, you say, what about those students that don't choose to use their individual space wisely? Well, they probably weren't going to use their individual space wisely to begin with. But now if it's all digitized, while I'm working with this group of students doing the activity as intended, this student who needs additional supports or needs caught up or whatever that student needs can be differentiated, and over here with a set of earbuds, accessing all that information that we put out here for them on their own. And then they can more quickly join the group without taking the teacher away from facilitating those other groups. So it allows you to multiply yourself. So flipped learning or hyperdocs or DIBs, whatever you call it, this is a means of multiplying yourself. Additionally, one of the best things I can think of in the English classroom is when we do other activities, when we do those peer-to-peer interactions, we do read to, read from, when we do evaluation, when we take a look at papers and talk about how things went wrong or right, etc. This is another place where the digital medium comes into play because a student can see those examples over and over and over. Socratic circles. To me, when the English teacher explained it, I didn't get it. But when I went and saw the teacher do it with a group of students, I absolutely understand. It's just like baseball. Why does the runner move from first to second? Because he must. If you try explaining baseball to anybody who's never heard of it or seen it, it's a crazy thing to try to do. Socratic circles are the same thing in the mind of a math teacher, but when I saw it, it made sense. Why doesn't it also make sense for students to see a demonstration involving live students or teachers modeling the activity for the student? Those are things that fit into a digital instruction block nicely because now the students come prepared with expectations that now match our own, which lowers frustration. They know what's expected, we know what they've been told, there's a consistency, and now we can all get to the part we really want to get to begin with. Now, what about you elementary school teachers? You say, my kids aren't great with technology. First of all, I don't hear very many elementary school teachers that tell me that because the kids are great with technology. Now, some are better than others, but it's another opportunity for differentiation. So if we use DIBs to bring those things into the classroom, we use DIBs to align all of these pieces because elementary school teachers are the best at using everything under the sun, and you're going 1,000 places all at once, and you have this program and that program, and you have this activity and that folder here and this live reading thing here, and centers are your life. And DIBs is a great way and a great supplement to centers because all those instructions, all of those pieces are in one place and in one picture for the student to click on and get what they need. How many times do we have to explain? No, you take the folder out, you take out this reading, you put your reading next to it, and then you go from one to the other, or you use whatever it happens to be. A student can watch that digitally just as they can have you explain it to them. You can again multiply yourself in an elementary school classroom or an intermediate or junior high classroom. So this is not just for higher level students or older students. This is really for everybody. One of the most effective places I use my digital instruction blocks is in my most basic math class, is the nicest way to say it, where we have math abilities that are in the second, third, fourth grade level for students that have a number of IEPs or individual education plans where they have a number of needs. And by putting my instruction in digital instruction blocks, they can slow me down. I can go at their speed as needed for them to process verbally. Or if they're already quick at it, they can watch me quickly and move right on through to the practice where now I'm there to help them. So my speed, how many times I do it, how many times they see it, or putting that organization together, that's where I use this most. And those are the same things that elementary school students can use. What about those students that love to race ahead? If the resources are available, now they can. But they're not pulling you from those students that also need you right then. So, in any situation, in any age group, within reason, DIBs and flipped learning is a great way to put together all of the great things that you already do. We're not talking about doing different things. We're talking about what you do, curated in a way that's accessible and understandable and organized. So, with that, take a look, see if it applies to you.